y'all. Welcome to the Beyond the Script podcast. I'm your host, Kerri. Today, I want to talk to y'all a little bit about just life. And specifically, right now, what's on my mind is multitasking. Now, men's brains are not wired the same as ours are, ladies. So don't get upset with them when they don't, notice all the things or, try to do all the things at once. That is how our brains are wired. And unfortunately, we kind of overload ourselves sometimes with that. But um, thinking about like multitasking and stuff, case in point, I have an oil treatment going on with my hair right now while I'm talking to y'all. And normally I try to like put myself more together and I'm like, nope, here's what we're talking about today. But I did want to show y'all the oil that I use is the Rejuvenate by Monet. The Rejuvenate oil is absolutely amazing. The little known fact here is that many of the popular hair treatments are actually like the structure is too large to go into your hair. So it actually clogs your pores instead of seeping it and moisturizing it. But the Rejuvenate oil is a blend of, I believe it's 13 essential oils that the stuff, y'all, I swear, it is pure gold. I've used it even to like clear up a sunburn. It is amazing. But I love, absolutely love their products. I use their shampoo and conditioner as well. I'm using the Renew because my hair is pretty thick. But there are different shampoos for different types of hair. Right now, I have my daughter on the smoothing system, and they have a men's line as well. And my husband loves their shampoo as well. But I love these products because they are like actually healthy products. They go by the European standards for ingredients, not the American standards. The European standards are so much more strict. So they go by the European standards. Y'all, I used to have to like switch brands of shampoo every time I finished a bottle of shampoo. I never really had like major problems with my hair, but I will say that Monet fixed problems I didn't know that I had with my hair. So if y'all are at all interested in anything to do with those hair products, it's an amazing, amazing line. I also use like their moisturizer and facial cleanser and stuff. So there's like all kinds of good products through this company. And I absolutely love it. It's also a family owned company, which I love as well. Um, but yeah, so that was one of the things that I wanted to talk to y'all about. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk about that is because I want to talk about taking time for self-care. Yes, I'm a stay-at-home wife. So you're like, oh, you have all the time in the world. Not really. Like I don't know what people think that stay-at-home wives do all day. And maybe not all of them do what I do. I don't know. But like I have a teenage daughter, I have a dog, I have a husband, I have a house to keep up. I just started college classes. Surprise! I haven't really been telling people, but yes, I just started college classes and stuff. So, like, my plate is pretty full. And that's why I forgot to upload an episode last week because, like, I was just so busy, caught up with everything else that I totally forgot to record and I didn't get the opportunity to. So, taking time for myself, I actually have a hard time doing that. I feel guilty doing that 9 times out of 10 because I always feel like there's something else that I should be doing for someone else. Like I'm a caretaker. That's what I do. Just to give you an example here, yesterday I took the dog to a grooming appointment. I came home. We had gone trail riding over the weekend. So I came home and decided to surprise my husband and I cleaned up the Jeep. Like I washed the Jeep, I vacuumed it, I wiped it down, whatever. And he's just like, you're, I think his exact words was that I was perfect. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And he's like, yes, you are. And I'm just like, oh, little puddle all day. But I came home and I cleaned the Jeep. And then I had to go back and get the dog and, run some errands and whatever. So, my day was full yesterday. And then I actually did a little bit of schoolwork yesterday. And then today, I thought I was going to be doing schoolwork all day. And turned out I didn't have that many assignments. So I was done by lunchtime. So then I ate lunch and I'm like, okay, now what do I do with myself? Because I have this little routine that I set up that Monday and Tuesday, I do schoolwork. Wednesday, if I have a lot of schoolwork, and then either like Wednesday or Thursday, I'm cleaning the house all day long, and then I'm running errands the next day, and whatever. So like, I stay busy all the time, and making myself take the time to do self-care is something that I really, really need to work on. Another thing that I wanted to talk to y'all about is the self-diagnosed ADHD, which will probably be very apparent throughout this episode because I feel like I'm scattered as crap. It's like my brain is going in all these different directions and I'm trying to pull it together and make it make sense and make it organized, but again, multitask brain and then like the ADHD stuff and whatever. I never thought I had ADHD. Like that thought never entered my mind until several years ago when I was like, okay, my mom has got to be ADHD. Like she had zero attention span and whatever. So I started researching it for her. And I'm like, oh my gosh, wow. Like so many of these things make sense. Okay. Raise your hand if you've ever been considered lazy by people, but it's like your brain wants to do the thing. You know you need to do the thing. You hate that you are not doing the thing, but your body is locked down. And it's like you cannot make yourself move. That is like the freakiest, most helpless feeling to me, but I can so relate to that. Being in the middle of a conversation and then your brain just stops. And I could not tell you the last sentence that I just said, what I was just talking about. Like, all these different things that one that I saw a video earlier, and one that I saw was talking about body doubling and like that it helps for an ADHD person to have someone there when they're doing things. And that one I do but don't relate to. Sometimes having someone else around can make the task less daunting, whether or not they're helping. But for me, actually, I can usually get more done in a single day by myself than I can in a week with anyone else around. So like that one I can't necessarily relate to so much. But the constant need for affirmation or whatever, like just so many things. Y'all, like the scatterbrainedness and the multitasked thing is semi sorta that, like where you'll start one thing and then end up doing something completely different before you ever, yeah, it's a mess, y'all. Um, but I have been using myself sort of as a test subject on a couple of things when it comes to like my productivity levels and such. I am a firm believer that people talk about like the different vibrations or frequencies or whatever. I do believe there's truth to that. Do I think that people can take it in a wrong direction? Yes, but I do believe there is truth to the basis of that. And yes, I love old classic films and music and all that kind of stuff. But it's actually scientifically proven that the best music to use to like stimulate your brain is actually classical music. And it is because of the frequency and such, also the slower tempos and such. So, I watch reels on Instagram all the time. I'm sure y'all do as well. But I ran across this account recently, and she puts together like these little 30-minute cleaning routines for people. And they're like, the 1950s music and such as that. Well, for me, doing 30 minutes a day doesn't really work so well. I prefer to take one whole day out of my week to clean my house, and then it's just kind of, maintaining throughout the week, like doing the dishes and stuff. But I started noticing that my productivity level was actually better when I would turn on like a 1940s playlist on YouTube. And I started noticing that my body was staying calmer. I was working at a more steady level, steady pace when I had that going, even versus listening to like worship music or whatever. And I'm like, wow. Again, to me, I personally believe it goes back a lot to like the frequencies and the tempos and such as that. But then another thing that I noticed is that my productivity level is actually better when there are no lyrics to the music, when it's literally just instrumental. And I think that is because there are no lyrics to be distracted by. It's just kind of monotone, not in a boring way, because like I enjoy the music, but like it's just calming in the background. Um, so these are just some things that I've been working on, you know, um, trying to balance all the things. When I was doing school this morning, one of the assignments was actually to create a study plan. And they're like, okay, you know, just work on this. They're doing like 30 and 45-minute segments a day on school. And I'm like, no, like that does not work for me. If I know this needs to be done, I'm not going to just work on it for 30 minutes every day. I'm going to get in there and I'm going to get the assignments done. That way I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the week. So I put together the study plan that they wanted me to. And honestly, it's not exactly what I do because they're like, oh, your study plan needs to cover 4 or 5 days out of the week. And I'm like, I get everything done in like 2 days. But that's what works for me. So kind of, I more or less told them what they wanted to hear, honestly, because I knew what they were looking for, but I kind of combined it in with what I already do. And yes, I should be better about looking at, like studying some of the other stuff other days of the week, but honestly, I'm busy with other things, so I don't, haven't taken the time to try to figure out a way to do that yet. And yes, I do need to be better about that, but figuring out what works for you, understanding that what works for you might not work for me, what works for me might not work for you, just all the different things. But one thing I'm like really, really, really trying to overcome in my mind is the guilt of self-care. I think it's because there is kind of a stigma against being a homemaker these days. Like people are like, oh, well, they don't think you do anything if you're at home all the time. And I know that's not true. My husband knows that's not true. My daughter knows that's not true. My dog definitely knows it's not true because she loves the days that I'm doing school and all I do is cuddle her while she can just like curl up next to me and cuddle while I'm doing school. So she loves those days because so many other days I'm busy doing this, busy doing that, and she wants to cuddle and I don't just sit and cuddle her. Um, but yeah. No, the ADHD thing is driving me nuts right now because I'm just like so scatterbrained. Or like when I finish school early and it's like I don't even know what to do with myself at this point because I have a routine for my week now and I don't even know what to do with myself. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll do an oil treatment on my hair, and y'all, it's exhausting sometimes, like just the battle of the mind when you have the ADHD thing. And as I said, it's self-diagnosed, but like so many things line up. My husband's always picking on me because you see videos of like people who are ADHD and they're so clumsy and they're always showing up with bruises or, this or this or this. And he's just looking at me like, uh-huh, yeah, because I'm like one of the most clumsy people you'll ever meet in your life. So I definitely think I have the ADHD thing going on there, but it's really a relief, honestly, to see that and to figure that out. Because then you learn ways kind of to offset it or just to have grace with yourself and to not be too hard on yourself because you're not just lazy or clumsy or, you are those things, but it's because your brain is wired differently. And it's not that you're being lazy, it's that your brain literally is like shutting down. So it's not just a lack of desire, it is like a paralysis in a way. But anyway, okay, I think that's it. Yeah, basically, I just kind of wanted to share what's been going on. And I wanted to share some of the products that I like to use. I also love to use thieves cleaner in my house because all of the like regular cleaners and stuff, they make my head hurt so bad, but I love the natural thieves cleaner. It smells so good. I can use it on all the surfaces. So that one's really, really cool as well. But I wanted to share the Monet products with y'all. And, if you're interested in any of that stuff, just let me know. Let me know some of the ways, like if you have the ADHD thing, let me know some of the things that you struggle with that, tips that you've learned in handling that, you know, all the things. But anyway, I'll shut up my rambling now. I apologize. This was so, so scattered, y'all. But that was just what was on my mind, and I wanted to share it with y'all. But I will be back again, hopefully next week, and we'll talk again then. Bye, guys.